Thank you so much for watching WRIF TV. Now, this interview is obviously with video, but I don't interview everybody on Zoom. That's why I put it on my Talkin' Rock with Meltdown podcast. We talk to rock artists from all over the genre. So check out Talkin' Rock with Meltdown wherever you get your podcasts. And now to today's video interview.
So you're out there touring festivals in Europe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man. I'm in Germany right now, but we've been all over Europe. We've been to Finland and Greece and Italy, and God knows we've been everywhere. It's been fantastic so far. Fantastic reactions, and you can really feel that the crowd is hungry for metal again. It's really great vibes wherever we play.
How much stuff you playing off the new album?
Actually, we do play quite a bit lately, depending on how long the set is. We played up to 5 songs of the new album, believe it or not, which is almost unheard of for us. A lot of times in the past, we've done 1 or 2 or 3 songs, and then, just concentrate on this stuff the tried and true stuff that we know works. But man, these new songs go down great. So we keep adding more stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say, what dictates that? But I guess just feel,
and you basically you try it out, and you see how is the audience reaction. And if you feel the whole vibe going down, then you say to yourself, well, maybe that didn't work so well. Let's try another one. You basically you immediately feel the vibe of the audience, whether they're all excited or they go like, huh, what's that one? Now,
are you guys able to change on the fly? Can you look at the band and go, yeah, let's skip to something else?
No, we don't do it that way. Come on. We're not a bar band. We have a set list and we kind of stick to it. Besides we always have a pretty strict time limit that we have to, so we time it basically to the minute. When they say we've got 60 minutes, it's going to be 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. So tell me about getting back out on tour, because obviously you guys were all locked down for the world. What was your first show that you guys played out?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. It was one in the US last fall, maybe Penn's Peak, somewhere on the East Coast there. I forget which exactly the first show was, but those were, but I feel like these are the first proper big shows that we've been doing. These big festivals here in Europe. It's a whole nother, I don't know, bigger stages and masses of people. So it feels quite different. And I think the first one was in Germany, a Rock Hard Festival.
Yeah. Now, I grew up over here in the States, and we're just kind of experiencing this whole festival thing like in the last 10 or 12 years, but you've been doing it your whole life, haven't you, over in Europe? Yeah.
And it's a tradition that started maybe 30 years ago by now. And I'm glad it did, because it really keeps the metal community together, and it keeps everybody, in the loop. And it's a fantastic way to, first of all, it's almost like an institution for the audience. They come there every year. They spend almost a week, maybe camping, and it's almost like going to Disney World or Disneyland or somewhere, with your family. It's almost this event, and then they see, however many bands they want to see it during the 3-4 days.
Yeah, I've watched. I've watched documentaries from some festivals that have taken place over there, and it's kind of cool because it's like, no matter where you are in the world, there's that one thing that ties everybody together. When you're at a rock concert, everyone's there for the same reason.
That's right. And funny enough, the people are very traditional in Europe. They still have these old, the denim vests with all the patches, and, they're metal through and through. They don't care what's in they don't care about hip hop or whatever. They might listen to it, but they still go back to the good old metal days, and they dress up, and they're very loyal fans. It's great.
So what other stuff do you listen to besides metal?
Not that much, to be honest. I'm not a huge record or song collector or anything. I don't really care that much. I do listen to classical music if I really want to get into something. That's sort of always been my hobby or my passion.
Yeah, and I know you've done some solo records around that too.
I have, and that's really where I get a lot of inspiration, and that's the stuff I can really focus on. But modern day metal and stuff, I hear it obviously when we play out stuff, but I'm not the guy who has got the AirPods in all the time and listens, head banging on the airplane. That's not me. I'm kind of glad sometimes to have my peace and quiet, and I don't really need to listen to all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So what kind of stuff does influence your music? Do you when you're writing a record, do you try to remain in a bubble so nothing influences you and you're just kind of focused on accept?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm always looking for inspiration for song ideas, like cool catchphrases or themes that inspire me to write a song. Because there's nothing worse than having a cool riff and you have got no idea what to do with it because you don't know what is the song about, or who are we talking about, or where's the song going, or where's this riff going. And it's always very cool if you've got an idea of, or at least a catchphrase that kind of lends itself to, storytelling in a way.
Yeah, something to start from. So how often do you bounce ideas off your wife?
Not that much anymore because she's not that involved anymore. She's basically retired. But in the past, especially in the 80s, oh God, she wrote just about all the lyrics. And nowadays it's less and less, but there's still an abundance of ideas there. If I need any, there's a secret little book with all those. It's actually funny if you go back through that book, you see a lot of the titles that, oh yeah, that became that song, that became that song. So a lot of that stuff is in there. And initially it was just, a little notebook. I guess a lot of songwriters do that. They always have something to write if they see something on the page, like in the newspaper or on the news, or it just pops in their head. They just write it down. You never know when you might need it,
Yeah, I guess you got like a little notebook on your bedside or something like that?
Not on my bedside, but I've got it on my
your phone, yeah. The
my iPhone. I constantly when I have something, I just type it in, and then when I sit there with my guitar, not having any, when I'm just drawing a blank, I go through my iPad and go like, oh, that might work. Let me try that, and I'll sing the words, and then a rhythm starts, and shit starts to develop.
So, "Too Mean to Die" came out last year. I guess would that be quote unquote your pandemic record?
It would be, yeah. We started it before the pandemic actually was underway, and then we finished it during the pandemic. And then that's why we thought the title "Too Mean to Die" was like sort of appropriate, because we are the metal warriors that can't be killed by a little virus.
That's right. But I've talked to many bands, and they've said that the pandemic kind of afforded them time to kind of go back over things. Was that what you guys did, or did you guys just record this normally like you normally would?
We recorded, we tried to finish this album sort of limping home because we couldn't fly our producer Andy Sneap into the States because of the travel ban that existed. So we had to do it remote. Some of the songs had to be done remotely with him being in England and we were in Nashville. So that was a little odd. But yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Well, I was just gonna say, did you have time like to actually kind of
time, yeah.
things,
No, well, to be totally honest, I wasn't that inspired. I was pretty beat down by the whole thing because we made this album, we were ready to tour with it, and the tour was canceled. And we thought, well, maybe we can tour the summer festivals. So we always had this sort of thing on the horizon, a few months out. And every time it was canceled, it was like, hurry up and wait. So I was never like really inspired. I don't know. It just dragged me down more than inspiring me to be.
Well, 2 weeks to flatten the curve,
Yeah. Exactly.
So are you going to work with Andy Sneap on the next record?
We better.
Yeah.
I already texted him. Funny enough, I texted him yesterday. Hey, when can we do the next album? Not that we have written all the new songs yet, but it always starts with setting a goal and a timeline. Hey, maybe next February we should just hunker down and see what we got. And then I get going because I know, February is not too far ahead. I better start collecting some shit. Yeah, I always need a little artificial deadline there.
Right. I know you're going to be finishing your tour in the end of October. Is that it for the year then after you finish these U.S. dates?
Yeah, probably. And then that's actually when we have to get serious about songwriting right after, definitely.
Yeah. And so now, do you live in Nashville now, or are you in Florida?
Well, both places really. I have a house in Florida and a house in Nashville. Yeah. Nashville. I've been in Nashville forever and ever, almost longer than nowadays. Everybody lives in Nashville, and I keep thinking like, well, damn it, I was here first. Of course, I wasn't first. There was a million people when I moved there, but from all the metal people, I feel still, hey, I was the first guy in town.
You're the OG, as they say. So you guys going to be working with the new record label and everything. Talk about that.
Yeah, we signed up with Napalm Records. And we're very excited about that. You know, they seem to have a great team. As a matter of fact, we met them last week for the first time in person because of the pandemic. We had to do all the signing and all that remotely, but they're super nice guys, metalheads through and through. So can't wait to have a new product out with them. Probably next year at some point. I'm not exactly sure when the release date will be, but I know. Well, hell, we haven't even recorded it yet. So it's going to be a new album before too long.
But it's got to be good to meet people of your own ilk that are now working with you, because you've probably had that in your career somewhere where people just, they really weren't on your side. They weren't really with you as far as record labels stuff. Wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen it all. We've been with a major label. We've been with the Sony in the 80s, and it was all about Michael Jackson back then. You know, we were like a little tiny fish in a huge pond, and Michael Jackson was the big gorilla or the big whatever fish, you know, and we were like the little German band, or you know. And then it's nice to be now with like the last 10 years we've been with Nuclear Blast, and they've been also great because they're metal fans. They get it. They know they live this stuff, and they're really in it. And Napalm is, you know, another extremely dedicated team. So it's great to be sort of in a family situation rather than being in a big corporation where you're just one of, you know, 1,000 acts or something.
Now, you just mentioned, you know, a little band from Germany and whatnot. Tell me how your life changed when a little band from Germany all of a sudden gets success all around the world.
Well, it was never this one moment when everything changed. It was a gradual thing over the years, I have to say. Probably the biggest change that ever happened for us, or the quickest, fastest paced stuff, was in 1984 when we released Balls to the Wall, and we indeed started touring in the US, and we came to the US market, that was like a huge thing for a German band to be able to play in America, to an American audience, to have an American deal, a worldwide deal with a major label. So that was it seemed huge back then, and it was. But you know, over the years, there's never been like this overnight sensation kind of moment. It was always, you know, step by step and very, very steadfast, working on our stuff. Solid, I would say, but never like, you know, jumping miles ahead one day to the next.
Right. And I imagine, you know, being around for so long, like you guys have been. I remember when I was a kid listening to Accept, man, it was like when, you know, I mean, Balls to the Wall. I mean, does it get any better than that? I'm not sure. But it's like, as far as like meeting some of these bands at these festivals, there's bands that you guys play with that you have directly influenced.
Yeah, we do meet them all the time, actually. And it's still surprising to me a lot of times which artists and bands come up to us or to me and tell me, hey man, when I heard Fast as a Shark, it changed my life. It's amazing. And I'm not going to drop any names, but there's some major bands or like guys, where I think like, really, you too? Wow. I mean, it's, you know, they're way bigger than Accept, a lot of them, but that's a huge honor for me, you know. And it shows you that it's, you know, we're all in this together in a way, and everybody steals a little, or like, well, what, stealing is a bad word, but we all take a little bit from everybody and make it our own, you know. And that's what we did when we grew up. We listened to Deep Purple a lot, and AC/DC and Judas Priest, Uriah Heep, and bands like that. And I guess out of all those little elements, we made our own style, you know. It's almost like you have these different ingredients and you bake your own cake out of it, but you couldn't have done it without that and without that. So, and that's when I hear that I influence other people, that's great, you know.
Yeah,
it's the way it's supposed to be.
The bands you're talking about, well, I guess the Scorpions were around earlier, but did you have any, I mean, were the Scorpions a band you guys kind of looked up to? They had some early success here in the States.
They certainly did. Yeah, they were the first band to really make it out of Germany and had international success. Definitely, yeah. And we met them, of course, over the years many times. We kind of know them quite well, and they've always been huge influence. I mean, not musical influence so much, but as far as like a career for a German band, they were definitely, yeah.
Yeah, they opened up the world to German rock and roll, pretty much.
Well, I don't know. I guess, but it wasn't like the door was wide open and you had to just walk in. It
Right.
wasn't like that either.
I got you. Yeah. No, I hear you. Fair enough.
It was still pretty brutal. I mean, it's not that easy as for a German band to come into an American market. It's all saturated with British and American acts, and all of a sudden the Germans come in, you know.
The Germans, yeah. Hey, real fast, I want to put you on the hot seat. So what do you think of this Pantera thing?
Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. Honestly, I'm not following. I'm not on Facebook. I don't follow. You tell me, what is it all about? I don't know.
So it looks like Rex and Phil are going to reunite, and they're going to play with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante from Anthrax. And, you know, I don't have a problem with this per se, but I keep reading reports they're going to call it Pantera, and that seems a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think actually now that you say that, I think my drummer was talking about it the other day. So, man, I don't know. Who am I to talk? I'm the last guy the original guy in my band. So, you know, I shouldn't. I guess if let them do what it's a big world, and if they want to do it that way, it's fine by me. But I'm, you know.
Yeah, I just thought, you know, I don't know, the way I look at things, like I knew Vinny a little bit. I met Dime a couple times, and it's like, you know, that band was done, and now both of them are gone. You know, you're in a kind of a different situation. You know what I'm saying?
But, you know, what's the harm on the other hand?
I just think that, like, for me personally, it's like calling it Pantera seems a little sacrilege. Like, if they were doing a tribute to Pantera, celebration of Pantera, something like that. But I don't know. It's like, I mean, I guess you're kind of splitting hairs by then.
Yeah, and on the other hand, come on, man, it's just music, and if people like the music, like the concerts, is it really so important? I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the pull that a name has, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
if they were to call it something else, you know, that maybe would sell less tickets. So that's the motivating factor. I mean, that I don't think anybody means any harm by anything. I think they're just doing it, you know, to sell more tickets and to get more publicity that way, and that's, I guess, in a way, legit.
Were you a fan of Dime?
No, I wasn't so much into that.
No.
No.
So I'm watching Stranger Things. You've had to talk about this a bunch of times, but that pin that Eddie wears on his vest, that's really cool.
What pin? What vest? What? What are you talking about? What is all this obscure stuff that you throw in my way? I don't know. What pin at Eddie's vest?
On Stranger Things, on the documentary, on the miniseries on Netflix.
Yeah.
He's got an accept pin.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know there's a wasp one. He's got a Dio jacket. Because that show takes, well, the new season takes place in 1986.
Oh, I haven't gotten into that series at all. So, yeah. Wow.
Oh, I thought you would have been bombarded. Are you being sarcastic with me?
No, I'm not, dude. I live in a. I'm honestly living in my own little bubble, so I don't really do much social networking at all. Don't always follow the latest gossip. So, you know, you're talking to a little, I don't know, virgin here.
Yeah, you're probably better off than all of us. I'll tell you that much. All right, let me throw some things out at here.
And you know, I also never read my interviews. I don't really. I mean, I do a lot of interviews, but but I don't have enough time to.
Well, yeah, you've done them. You know what you said, right?
Not really, but sometimes I see it. Like yesterday, Andy Sneed said something about not being a German robot or something. He forwarded it to me and and I couldn't even remember. Did I really say that? Fine, whatever. But I don't read all that stuff after the fact. I can't be bothered, man.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, you know, back in the day, the rock aggregates were like Hit Parader and Cream and, you know, whatever else. And now the things turn around in a day. It's weird.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, because before you do an interview, you wouldn't see it for like 3 or 4 weeks, probably, right? If you were reading
back then.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, sometimes we had to do interviews and pretend it was after the tour, and the tour hadn't even started, because the advance was so far in it. I mean, we had to do interviews like 4 months in advance. You know, before the album was even finished, we had to talk about what a great album it is. So it was
Do you have any of those old magazines saved up anywhere? Was Circus and Hit Parader and all that stuff? RIP?
No.
I can remember reading those as a kid. All right, I'm going to fire off some things here at you real fast, and we'll let you go. Where's the weirdest place?
It's going to be embarrassing or what?
No. Where's the weirdest place you've heard one of your songs?
Weirdest place. Oh God, don't put me on the spot like that.
Never at like an Applebee's or something?
No, I mean, it was sometimes in the cab you hear. I mean, on the way to the concert, sometimes they play our songs and stuff. But honestly, there hasn't been. Need to think about that. Sorry, lame answer.
All right, next question. Have you? How many other bands, or have you ever auditioned for another band?
Never have.
No, really.
Never have. I've never been in any other band since 1976. So.
Right. I thought that maybe you might have snuck out here and there, maybe in the late '90s or something, looking for something, or no?
No, back then I made the decision to just sort of withdraw from the music business altogether because I was, again, back then I was the last surviving guy. Everybody had left the band basically. And I thought, well, shit, maybe time's up and time to do something else. But I've never auditioned for anybody, at least not that I remember. Maybe like a neighborhood band before, except I did that, of course.
Right, yeah. How much of your leaving the music business was kind of associated with what was going on in the music at the time with the grunge scene?
Well, then it played a role because times weren't good for heavy metal back then. You know, there was no market, or the market was dwindling, and it seemed to me the best days were over, and maybe it's time to move on, basically. And I was living in the States back then, and parallel to that, in Europe, all these festivals that we were talking about started to happen. Unbeknownst to me. So, you know, thank God for that, because they kept it all alive and they kept it, you know, from dying out, which is great. You know, so the renewed interest in metal is in big part of it to Europe, because now everybody goes to Europe to tour. Back in the 80s, everybody came to America to tour.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what it used to be.
It's kind of cool to see how some bands have really persevered and are now as big or bigger than they were back in the day.
Yeah, and I think we're almost bigger than we ever were back in the day, which is awesome. You know, I think we're having more success, but I think we're also, as a band, we're up better. But I think we're doing great, man. I think we make great albums. We do fantastic shows. So I think things are better than ever.
Yeah, by the way, December, I think it's, I'm sorry, not December, October 15th, they'll be here in Detroit. So looking forward to coming out there and seeing you guys. All right, two more things here real fast. Have you ever had like a really fun like jam session? Have you ever been able to join any other bands on stage?
No, but who came out to us? Phil Anselmo came out and played with us once. He came out to us, which is fun. I've never been the sort of the jam sitting guy and jump on stage with other people. Never even done that in my life.
All right, last thing here for you. Since my daughter turns 21 this weekend, and my daughter is your typical female country music fan. Of course, we're going to Nashville. Now, I've been in Nashville 4 times since the pandemic. Kid Rock is one of my buddies and lives outside the city there. So, where's one place that I should take my daughter?
Oh, not to Broadway. That's
where she wants to go. But give me someplace else that you'd take her.
Take her to that place that a lot of people like to go to. What is that? The Loveless Cafe. It's in the middle of nowhere. They supposedly have the best breakfast in the world or something.
All right, Loveless Cafe. I gotta write this down because I'll forget. But yeah, I've been down there so many times. You know, I've been down there so many times that I've never gone to Lynchburg, and I didn't realize it was only an hour.
Oh, Lynchburg is cool, but it's quite a hike from Nashville. It's like a 2-3 hour drive.
Well, I'll be coming in from 8 hours anyways, driving down there. So yeah.
Oh, maybe you should go. It's fun. That's a cool place. I've been there a bunch of times.
I'm a big Jack Daniels fan, so I got to get down there and see what it's all about. So, well, Wolf, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with everything over in Europe and of course here in the States, and we'll see you in the fall here in Detroit.
Can't wait, my man. It was fun talking with you.